Week 1 reselling video games. So here's where we're at financially, and we only have the week 1 numbers, but going forward I'll try to keep track of multiple weeks so you can see where we've been and where we're currently at. Along with that, here are some of the lessons that we've learned, at least through this week and through some of the other stuff we've done to this point. Number 1, buy from small video game collections. A lot of times when you go to flea markets and you go to antique malls, you're going to see big cases filled to the brim with video games, and most of the time that stuff is marked competitively, which is fair because it's someone's small business. But if you find a case that has completely filled with jewelry, but there's 4 video games down in the bottom corner, check those. Each of those is probably going to be underpriced. That was the best luck I had today when I went to 2 flea markets, and there was just one case that had 4 NES games, but personally I couldn't test them, and the margins weren't there for me to get them without being able to bargain, which I had the opportunity to do, but it wasn't comfortable for me, so we moved on from that. Number 2, don't be fooled by the golden goose. And what I mean by that is if you're selling on eBay like me, understand that there's going to be games that sell for more than they probably should once. So recently I bought Pokemon Blue for $45, hoping that I could sell it back for $70 or $75, because I saw 1 or 2 listings that were like that. Now, there's 2 parts of that. 1, it could have been the odd listing that sold high, but 2, both of those listings had new batteries. My copy didn't, and that's something I probably should have looked more into, but at the time it was easy to scroll over. So, looking back, I lost out on that because every other copy was selling for about $50, maybe $55, and so that's where mine's going to land. And after shipping and fees, I'll lose money, but we're going to recover from that anyways, so I'm not too worried. But just remember that don't go chasing the golden goose, and make sure you do your research on all of the pricing, not just the 1 or 2 high marks, and try to price there. Shipping and fees sucks. So what I mean by that, especially on eBay where I do a lot of my selling, is that if they take their 15% fee or whatever it is, and they take their shipping, which all of it requires tracking, so there's $4 to $5. If I take a $40 game, after shipping and fees, I might walk away with $28, $29. So I have to buy a game for less than that, somewhere around $25 is my ideal range, and that's really hard to convince people to do, especially if I'm trying to buy, a $10 game. I have to get it for $2 or $3, probably just to cut even realistically. And if I'm making profit, it's minimal. So, either doing the business in bulk deals or finding steals, but finding steals at that low of a discount kind of gets dicey. But it's something that you can still do. Just keep your eyes out. Rule 4 and 5 are something that's a little unique to myself that I'm making content, is to always take more reroll. If I can get more content of the games that I'm buying or of the store in general, anything will help, at least in making the video, so that you guys are a little more entertained. To go along with that, also keep your employees happy. I don't have any employees, but I have a girlfriend, and that's way harder to do. At least I think it is. So what I did today to try and help that issue was I took her out for bubble tea. While we were out going out on the town, hitting flea shops, hitting Goodwills, hitting everything that we could find, I tried to make her happy in any way I can. So let her pick the playlist, let her get a drink, let her do what she needs to do, and do the same things for the people that you're buying games from. Be nice to them. Just don't be a dick. Don't say, oh, I can't pay that because it's not worth it. Your game's worthless. Say, hey, that just doesn't work for me. Let's figure something else out. Or, hey, whatever, it happens, man. Thanks for the time, and move on. Just be a good, nice person. And always say thank you. These are the people you're working with. Keep them happy. Hopefully they'll bring you games back in the future. Say, hey, are you still interested in more Switch stuff? Sure. Move on. Be happy about that and keep going. Lastly, always have fun. Enjoy what you're doing. This is a hobby. This is something I'm doing to enjoy it. I enjoy the hunt of going out and searching for video games. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy trying to make these deals and having that challenge. So just make sure you're enjoying what you're doing and continue to strive for that, or else you're going to hate that you're doing it and you're going to want to stop. Lastly is the penalty jar, which we came up for this week as I made one issue, and we've decided to set a couple more rules for anything that could pop up in the future, which we're always welcome to adding more or changing what's there. First off, we have the overdraft rule, where personally I set a budget of what I was comfortable spending on this hobby, and I've already spent that, so we're having this money in and out, which gives me my cash in hand money to spend. If I go over that number, well, that's an overdraft fee. And if I was a bank, it would be $35, but because I'm a little generous to myself, we're doing it at $5. And so every time that happens, we're going to add that to a penalty jar, which we're going to total up the money into, and at the end of, say, $50, $100, we're going to take that money and we're going to try to buy a game that either I or my girlfriend wants, or perhaps we'll get a console, or try to get a console so that we can test more games and just keep reinvesting it as much as possible while keeping it a penalty. The next is slow turnover. So if a game sits in my eBay store for more than 2 weeks, I'm going to take $1 and put it in the penalty jar, just to make sure that I'm trying to find inventory that's going to move competitively and at a competitive price. Rule 3 is date night violations. So if we're on a date night, if we're watching a movie and I agree, hey, I'm putting my phone down, I'm not doing Facebook, I'm not doing eBay, I'm not doing anything, and I break that rule, well, that's another $5 in the violation jar. The last rule is losing money. If I lose money on a deal, say I bought Pokemon Blue for $45 and I sell it for $55, well, after margins and fees, I'm going to lose money on that. And well, that's okay and I can accept that. There's still a penalty in the fact that I have to sell a game for less than I wanted to. And so again, we're going to take $5 and we're going to put it in the penalty jar. So with all of that said, that's about where I'm at the end of week 1, and I'll keep you guys updated as I keep selling stuff and hopefully keep making money.